Welcome to Mr. Dark Mysteries, the dark corner of YouTube where unsolved mysteries, chilling murders, and true crime stories come to life. Dive with us into the depths of the human psyche as we unravel the most bewildering cases ever recorded. From forgotten cold cases to the most recent investigations, no stone will be left unturned in our quest for truth. Prepare for a journey through the shadows of society, where mysteries await to be revealed. Subscribe now so you don't miss any mystery. In this video, we unravel the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident, a tragedy that still raises questions more than 6 decades later. In the icy winter of 1959, 9 young adventurers ventured into the pristine snow of the Ural Mountains, driven by an insatiable urge for discovery. Led by Igor Dyatlov, a name that would ominously echo through the annals of unsolved mysteries, their goal was the Otorten Mountain, a journey that would take them to the most prestigious degree of ski touring. This was not just a trek, it was a promise of adventure, a test of their willpower and unity against the unpredictable wilderness. On the morning of January 25, 1959, a group of 9 young, ambitious ski hikers gathered at the Sverdlovsk train station, now known as Ekaterinburg. The air was permeated with the sharp scent of winter, and their breath formed small clouds in the cold. Among them was Igor Dyatlov, the undisputed leader, whose name would later be immortalized by the mystery that would unfold. The group was a mix of students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, united by a shared passion for the unknown and a hunger for adventure. The train journey to Ivdel, a town in the northern Sverdlovsk Oblast, was long and full of anticipation. Amidst conversations ranging from technical discussions about their equipment to dreamy speculations about what they would encounter, a bond formed that can only arise under such circumstances. This journey was the beginning of something great, something they all knew would change their lives forever. Upon arrival in Ivdel, the group temporarily split, with some stocking up on final supplies while others confirmed the route that would lead them to the heart of the Ural Mountains. The final leg of their journey to the foothills of Mount Otorten was completed by truck, where they sat packed together, their faces illuminated by the glow of anticipation and the cold winter sun. On January 28, they finally reached Vizhai, the last inhabited area before their destination. Here, on the edge of the wilderness, they took a day to prepare, check their equipment, and mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. It was also here that a 10th member of the group, Yuri Yudin, was forced to return due to illness, unaware that this decision would save his life. The next morning, with their backpacks securely fastened and their skis ready for the journey, they ventured into the white expanse that would lead them to Mount Otorten. The air was crisp, the snow beneath their feet crackled with every step, and the forest enveloped them in a silent, majestic beauty. They followed a route that would take them along frozen rivers, through dense forests, and across open fields, a landscape that was both breathtaking and unforgiving. As they continued on, they marked their path with notes in a diary, and left behind rolls of film, silent witnesses to their progress, and the optimism that drove them. Every evening, as they set up their tent under the starry sky, they felt one with nature, far removed from the inhabited world. However, their conversations by the campfire, full of laughter and plans for the future, would soon be silenced, replaced by a silence that would continue to bewilder the world. This chapter of their journey, full of hope and undaunted determination, stands in stark contrast to the tragedy that was yet to unfold. It was a time when the boundaries between adventure and tragedy had not yet been crossed, a moment when the dream of discovery was still untouched by the shadows of impending doom. As the group ventured deeper into the pristine wilderness of the Ural Mountains, the true extent of their challenge began to reveal itself. The days were characterized by the relentless cold that pierced through their clothing, and the nights by a silence so deep it seemed as if the world held its breath. The snow, untouched and endless, stretched as far as the eye could see, a white desert that was both enchanting and merciless. On February 1st, after several days of steady progress, They made a decision that would dramatically alter the course of events. Instead of taking a more sheltered route around the base of Mount Koletschaikel, Dyatlov chose to go straight across the mountainside, a more direct path that would lead them through the heart of the unknown wilderness. The mountain, whose name in the language of the Mansi means the mountain of the dead, stood as a silent warning, but the group was determined and fearless. As they set up camp on the open slope of the mountain, with the tent securely anchored against the bite of the wind, the weather began to deteriorate. Snowflakes, first light and sporadic, soon became a raging snowstorm that enveloped them in a curtain of white. Inside the tent, surrounded by the sounds of the howling wind, they shared a meal, unaware that this would be one of their last moments of camaraderie. The hours that followed were marked by an ominous silence. Then, in the dead of night, this silence was shattered by something unthinkable, something that prompted them to hastily abandon the safety of their tent. Clad only in their nightclothes, they hurriedly cut an opening in the canvas and plunged into the frozen darkness outside, away from what threatened them within. What followed was a struggle to survive in the most inhospitable conditions. The group, now scattered across the slope, desperately tried to reach the shelter of the forest, their footsteps the only signs of their passage through the snow. Some attempted to make a fire, their hands trembling with cold, while others, in a desperate attempt to stay warm, burrowed into the snow. But nature was unforgiving. The cold, cutting through their clothing as if it were paper, took its toll. Despite their determination and survival instincts, the members of the group began to succumb one by one to the merciless forces of nature. Their final moments were filled with unimaginable hardships, far from help, alone with the stars as silent witnesses to their struggle. Investigation teams, sent weeks later, found a scene that raised more questions than answers. The tent, torn and abandoned, with personal belongings and equipment still inside. The bodies, scattered across the slope and in the forest, some with unexplainable injuries. And the question burning in everyone's minds: what had driven these experienced hikers to abandon their only shelter and face death in the freezing cold? In the icy vastness of the Ural Mountains, where snowstorms howl like the lost souls of yore, lay the camp of the Dyatlov group, abandoned, a silent witness to the tragedy that had unfolded. The days following their fateful decision to leave the tent remained shrouded in mystery, a puzzle that even the hardiest investigators shuddered to confront. Mansi hunters reached the site of the camp. They were met with a scene that surpassed their deepest fears. The tent, torn and partially buried under snow, appeared hastily deserted, with food supplies, clothing, and essential gear still intact. It was as if the group could return at any moment, but the silence that surrounded them spoke volumes. When the search teams, comprised of volunteers, soldiers, and divided by the desire to find their friends, the search teams spread out across the area, their eyes scanning for any trace, any clue that could shed light on the fate of the missing hikers. It was a race against time, against the relentless cold that gripped everything in its hold. A few hundred meters from the tent, they found the first bodies. Two young men, barefoot and clad in nothing but their underwear, alongside the remnants of a desperate attempt to make a fire. Their final moments, spent in the battle against the cold, were a heart-wrenching testament to their will to survive. Further into the forest, at what would later be known as the Cedar Forest, 3 more bodies were discovered, each at different distances from one another. They seemed to have attempted to return to the tent, their positions indicating a final futile effort to reach the safety of their shelter. Among them was Igor Dyatlov, the leader of the group, whose dreams and ambitions were now forever silenced. It took over 2 months before the last 4 members of the group were found, deeply buried under the snow in a ravine, meters away from the cedar forest. Their injuries were of a nature that raised questions no one could answer. Broken ribs and skulls, yet without clear external wounds, as if they had been struck by a force beyond human understanding. As the investigators combed the site of the tragedy, gathering whatever evidence they could find, it became clear that this was no ordinary accident. The circumstances surrounding their deaths, the inexplicable injuries, and the fact that some of them wore garments belonging to others, pointed to a deeper, darker mystery. The bodies were brought back to the inhabited world, where autopsies yielded more questions than answers. Terms like an irresistible force of nature circulated, but offered little solace to the families and friends left behind with only memories of the loved ones they had lost. As the chilling winds of the Ural Mountains lifted the snow in swirling dances, the discovery of the last 4 bodies in the ravine left investigators and the world in stunned disbelief. These final findings cast a sinister shadow over the entire incident, a dark tapestry woven with threads of unexplained mysteries and unanswered questions that defied the bounds of rational thought. The autopsy reports of these 4, found deeper in the ravine, revealed injuries that told a chilling tale. Fractures in the chest and skull so severe they could only be compared to the force of a high-speed collision, yet without the accompanying abrasions or external wounds. It was as if an invisible force had struck them with a savage, inexplicable fury. Strangely, one of the bodies was missing its eyes, and even more chillingly, another had no tongue, giving rise to wild theories and speculations ranging from secret military experiments to attacks by unknown entities. These gruesome details only added to the already dense fog of mystery shrouding the incident. Meanwhile, outside official investigations, the Russian press began to speculate with stories of unknown orbs of light, seen by hikers and the indigenous population in the sky around the time of the Dyatlov incident. These reports fueled rumors of possible UFO activity or secret weapons tests by the Soviet government, which might have been responsible for the tragic events. The official investigative commission, pressured by the inexplicable nature of the hikers' deaths and the growing speculations, closed the case with a statement that raised more questions than answers. They concluded that the hikers had perished due to an overwhelming natural force, a vague description that left the door open for endless interpretations and conspiracy theories. Families of the deceased and a community yearning for closure were left in a state of deep mourning and confusion. The memory of the 9 young lives, so abruptly and incomprehensibly extinguished in the frozen wilderness, became an open wound in the heart of the nation, a mystery begging to be unraveled. In the years that followed, the Dyatlov Pass incident became a subject of fascination for researchers, writers, and filmmakers, each with their own theories about what could have happened on that fateful night. From natural causes like avalanches and infrasound to more outlandish explanations like cryptid attacks or cosmic phenomena, each new theory added a layer to the already complex puzzle. As the years passed since the ominous incident in the Ural Mountains, the echoes of the Dyatlov Pass mystery never faded. They resonate through time, an unsolved symphony of theories and speculations that cast a permanent shadow over the snow-covered slopes of Koletsk. This chapter, though rooted in the aftermath, explores the immortal legacy of the incident, a puzzle that continues to challenge and intrigue. As the Cold War cooled and the Iron Curtain lifted, the global community gained more access to the details of the Dyatlov Pass incident. New generations of researchers, armed with the technology and knowledge of the digital age, took up the torch in the quest for answers. Internet forums and social media sparked a renaissance of interest, allowing amateur detectives and professional scientists to come together in their pursuit of truth. Documentaries and films brought the story to a wider audience, each with their own interpretation of the events. The fascination with the Dyatlov Pass incident was fueled not only by the unsolved mysteries, but also by the human elements of the story, young lives full of hope and dreams, abruptly ended by an invisible enemy. Meanwhile, new theories continued to emerge, each attempting to explain the inexplicable. Scientists proposed infrasound wind patterns that could lead to panic attacks, while others pointed to recent discoveries about avalanches occurring in unexpected ways. But no theory could fully explain why the group left their tent, nor the strange nature of their injuries. In an attempt to solve the mystery, some of the bodies were re-examined using modern forensic techniques. These investigations unearthed new details, but also raised more questions. The presence of radioactive substances on some garments and the unusual injuries remained points of speculation and debate. The Dyatlov Pass incident also became a mirror for human fascination with the unknown, a case study in how mystery, tragedy, and the relentless drive for explanations can converge in an eternal dance. The story transitioned into popular culture, with references in music, literature, and even video games, each adding to the myth and mystique of that fateful expedition. As time marches on, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains an open book, its pages filled with unanswered questions and unsolved mysteries. It is a story that not only commemorates death, but also celebrates life. The lives of 9 adventurers whose legacy is not defined by their tragic end, but by their fearless spirit and the enduring fascination they have inspired. In the shadows of the Ural Mountains, where snow blankets secrets of the past, lies the tale of the Dyatlov Pass incident, a mystery that has defied time. The echoes of that fateful expedition in 1959 have left an enduring impression, not only on the slopes of Kolet-Syakhl, but in the hearts and minds of people around the world. This story, woven from tragedy, mystery, and the unquenchable human thirst for adventure, remains a solemn testament to the unpredictability of nature and the fragility of life. The quest for answers has traversed many paths, from scientific inquiries to the farthest reaches of speculation. Yet the core of the mystery remains untouched, shielded by time and the elements themselves. The 9 young adventurers who left their tent on that fatal night have bequeathed to us more than an unsolved puzzle. They have given us a narrative that speaks of the daring to explore the unknown, the resilience of the human spirit, and the deep, sometimes dark, mysteries of our world. As we close this chapter, we remember the Dyatlov Pass incident not only as an unsolved case, but as a call to the adventurer in us all. It reminds us to respect the forces of nature, to cherish the value of camaraderie, and to never cease asking questions, however elusive the answers may seem. The spirits of Dyatlov and his team continue to live on, not as shadows of a forgotten tragedy, but as symbols of human curiosity and the eternal quest for understanding. Their story is a reminder that, in the words of Shakespeare, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. So let us lay the Dyatlov Pass incident to rest, not forgotten, but engraved in the annals of history as a mystery that continues to challenge us, inspire us, and remind us of the unknown frontiers still awaiting the brave who dare to dream, to discover, and above all, to understand. The curtain falls on the tale of Dyatlov Pass, but the echoes will endure, an immortal whisper in the wind, a story forever part of the legend of human exploration.